All right, Brakathia Howell, Brakathia Oshai, Brakathia Howell, Brakathia Oshai, Brakathia Howell, Brakathia Howell, Bashim Yaoshai, Bahashem, Rakak Kudash. I want to say double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, which you well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. All right, I'm the priest Shaman, and I'm going to be doing a quick sort of response to this scripture right here that the elder brother Yahweh did. He put on GMS at a point, Matthew 10 and 16, where it says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." And he was pretty much doing this in response to, we call him Alizé. He calls himself priest Alazar, high priest, something to that effect. Alazar, once a former member of Great Millstone, but he has his congregation dressing in army fatigue, giving off a militant type persona, if you will. And that's another thing I want to title the show: Is it time to be militant? You know, and you might wonder why I got Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, Wile E. Coyote. Yahweh, he might get a kick out of this because he's always bringing these characters up. And, you know, I thought to myself, you know, one thing, when you look at a sheep, just imagine that sheep's in the midst of wolves. Would sheeps attack wolves? Would a prey go and attack the predator? The prey would be freaking happy as hell. The prey would be happy. The predator would be happy as hell if the prey is running at him. I don't got to chase the motherfucker. He can just come to me and eat him. So the pack of wolves would be extremely happy. So too is Esau when you act militant against him, because he's the predator and we're the prey here. All right. So when he sees us get militant, if you see the Hebrew Israelite get militant, he looks at that as another prey that's coming to him. You know, i.e. the Black Panthers or these different revolutionaries that's trying to rise up against him. That makes the so-called white man Gideon happy. In fact, he uses proxies to try to instigate that to happen. You know. So the reason I got Wile E. Coyote is and these Looney Tune characters, because I know one the brother like that, you know, but it's similar with you look at our Roadrunner and let's say Bugs Bunny. All right, they get out they're being hunted, but how do they come against the predator? They use wisdom, you know. They use craftiness, and that's what we have to use in this situation when it says be wise as serpents, as harmless as doves, you know. You look at this picture of Wile E. Coyote. He's putting together these plans and designs, and guess what? That's what the so-called white man does. He comes up with these crazy complex design to try to catch the roadrunner, to catch the bird, and that's what he's trying to do to catch us. You know, I'll give you examples. Gentrification. You know, that's a tactic he uses to get so-called Negroes confined into one particular area, and so-called white people confined into one particular area to set the stage for a race war. What else? Planned Parenthood is another crafty device. Let's see. The welfare system. You know, that catches a lot of the prey. The welfare system was not designed to help the so-called black family, but however to destroy it by separating the husband and wife. You know, if a woman has a husband, they can't get the benefit, but if he's not in the home, she could get the benefit. You have a child now raised without a father, and that creates a degenerate. You know what I'm saying? So these are different designs that the so-called white man comes up with, but yet he can't catch the elect. We like Roadrunner. You know what I'm saying? And we all find a way to maneuver out of the plan, and we don't even fight mechanics with mechanics. We use wisdom, sly, and cunningness. Like you can see Bugs Bunny up top dressing like a duck. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, this guy Elmo Fudd thinks it's, you know, the rabbit season, duck season, if you're familiar with it. He used sly and cunning to get out that situation, and that's what we do. You know, we foresee the evil, and as the scripture says, when they try to lay snares for us and traps for us in this world, whether it be the 2/3 of the so-called white man himself, the Most High make that pit that they dig, make their ass fall in it, you know? And I'm going to give example of this in the scripture. So, no, it's not the time to be militant. No, it's time to be crafty, slick. You know, the prophets before were that, man. All right, let's go to a few examples. All right, we're going to use first King David situation. This is 1 Samuel chapter 21 verse 10. And David arose and fled that day for fear of Saul, and went to Achish, the king of Gath. These are the Philistines. And the servants of Achish said unto him, Is not this David, the king of the land? Did they not sing one to another of him in dances, saying, Saul has slain his thousands, and David his tens of thousands? And David laid up these words in his heart. So David started to scheme pretty much, like it was on his mind, like, yo, and was sore afraid of Achish, the king of Gath, because David was afraid he was going to give him up, and they already knew the things that David did, such as the time he killed their ass, he killed Goliath and stuff. So he was afraid that they would take his head off. So this is what David did, and he changed his behavior before them and feigned himself mad. Feign meaning he just fronted. When you look at feign, it just means imagine. So that was some crafty, slick shit that King David did, man. Is King David a mighty man? Hell yeah. All right. Is King David militant? Hell yeah. But was it the time for it? Hell no. All right. And feigned himself mad in their hands and scrabbled on the door of the gate and let his spittle fall down his beard. So King David is here. They got him wrapped up, but then he's struggling and making all types of stupid noises. Yeah. Here it is, that's some Looney Tune, that's some shit you'll see some Bugs Bunny Looney Tune type character do. That's some shit Jerry would do to escape from Tom. It was slick, it was very sly, and that's how you ought to be, all right? Not trying to fight militant with militant, because that will just get your ass deceived. Why the fuck does Wile E. Coyote even want Roadrunner so bad? Ain't there other birds out there that he could devour? They want the ones they can't catch. You hunt, you go after the prey that you can't catch, man. For the hell of it, And they want us. They want the Hebrew Israelites, so-called, all right? Because they were able to catch these other groups easily. And guess what? A few of these other groups, they put themselves in position to be caught. However, here at Great Millstone, we deal with the Lord, And guess what? While King David was doing this, he was sounding his mind, praying to the Lord. And he got delivered. Verse 14. Then said Achish unto his servant, Lo, ye see, the man is mad. Wherefore then wherefore then have ye brought him to me? I have need of madmen that ye have brought this fellow to play the madman in the presence. Shall this fellow come into my house? So see that? King David changed his whole aura. Kind of like you see this guy Bugs Bunny above. And they all do that, you know what I'm saying? When you watch these particular cartoons of those days, they use these little slick, sly, cunning ways. Jerry's known for that. Tom setting up all these traps. Roadrunner getting out these traps. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same shit. All the while, King David was sending up prayers when this was going down, while he's acting mad. Acting like a complete idiot. Acting like a madman. But you got a front to save your ass. Let's see what King David was thinking. Psalms 56:1. To the chief musician upon, let me see if I could do this. Jonethel Lam Rokoim. Oh man. Break the word down. Alright, so Jonath Elam Rekokim. There you go. That's my best shot. Mishchem of David. And it says, when the Philistines took him in Gath, be merciful unto me, O power. Yahweh Shemiah Shai, for man would swallow me up. He fighting daily oppresses me. So you can read the whole chapter if you will, but the whole time this was going on, this situation was going on, King David was putting up prayers. And what did the Most High put the Spirit on him to do? Did it put the Spirit on him to be militant? Did the Most High give him spiritual power in that situation? No. He gave him wisdom, the wisdom to be slick, sly. That we, as years now in the future, could read this and see an example of when it's time to be militant. Going back to the scripture that we opened up with, we're sheep, all right? Sheep don't have alpha sheeps. They're all the same size. If a sheep was walking in a straight line, they all generally be the same size. There's no alpha sheep. What protects sheep from coyotes and all these different creatures? A shepherd, all right? And that's what we're waiting upon. Yahweh Shai is the shepherd. The scriptures is written, smite the shepherd and the flock shall flee. So we need that shepherd. We need that alpha. We don't have an alpha Israelite that's going to come in amongst us, that's going to come and do anything against the so-called white man. No, we need the shepherd to defeat the wolf. And that's what we're going to do when Yahushua comes back. And he told us this. Wait ye upon me. So to dress militant and to, wear shirts that say Hebrew Israelite extremist, you're just running to the predator. All right? You're not being sly. You're not being slick. Hey, just the other day I picked up these two gay couples, right? So-called lesbians. Which that is an abomination too. Oh nah, two girls kissing is sex. You're out your fucking mind. That's a complete abomination. And they was telling me, why you not in Jamaica? I'll be up in Jamaica smoking bud. And another girl goes, well, homosexuality is not tolerated down there. And I know that, I know that. But you know what I said? I said, you know what? They're starting to be more progressive. I agreed with my adversary quickly because that's what the scriptures tell me. Because I was using that as a ruse to get more tips. What's the point of me cursing them out and giving them the scriptures? Getting a bad review on my name and probably my situation, they write you up. You could lose your position. So there's a time to be Superman and there's a time to be Clark Kent, And it just seems like certain Israelites don't understand that. They just want to be fully militant, I'm a Hebrew Israelite extremist. And no, Yahushua was not a Hebrew Israelite extremist, man. Let's use another situation. I'm pressed for time. This is Genesis 12:12. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, this is the wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive. This is Abraham speaking to Sarah. And we have to understand that, when you hear about Abraham's going from the land of Ur into the land of Israel, following the Fertile Crescent. So he's coming up from the southern parts of Iraq, going up over the Fertile Crescent and back down into Israel, okay? He was not alone, all right? He was what the Arabs would call a sheik at that time. He had thousands of people with him, In fact, he had over 300 servants in his house. So he wasn't just, it was just me and Sarah. No, he had people with him, and he had trained combat people that could fight with him. So he could have got militant, but it wouldn't have been a wise move. We know Abraham was able to get militant. He whipped he got his cousin Lot out of that particular situation in Sodom, right? So Abraham was no pushover, and he wasn't just by himself with his wife. He had thousands of people with him and cattle, and it was a great migration, him being the leader. But you have to use wisdom. And that's what Abraham did. So we see examples of the prophets before us with the ability to kick some ass, not being pushovers, but seeing the greater picture and realizing, look, now ain't the time to be militant. And definitely not now the time to be militant, because look at it. The Most High keep giving Esau more and more technology. When you watch this Looney Tune cartoon, in fact, I saw this one picture. Elmer Fudd had the shotty right on Bugs Bunny's head, the back of his head, and Bugs Bunny just played it cool. Didn't hack style, and that's how we ought to be. So-called white man pull you over. Hey, pull over, get over, and searching your car, and you're not gonna, in the name of Yahushua, don't open the door like that other fucking fool. Trying to put up curses. Nah, you just get out the door, be cool. Hey, what's the problem, officer? You know what I'm saying? Just be cool. All time, just, putting up praise in the Lord. Some bitch telling you, man, I seen them Hebrew Israelites on the news, man, they crazy. Guess what you say? Yeah, baby, they are, Now get back to, doing what you do. Save yourself a lot of time, So this is a few examples. It says, therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, this is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive. Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, which in fact she was his sister from his, they had the same father, different mothers. Say, I pray thee that thou art my sister, that it may be well with me, for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee. So we see examples of where the prophets, and men of the Lord use craftiness. It doesn't mean that they didn't trust in the Lord, all right? It was righteous deception, if you will. The Apostle Paul did it to bring more people into the congregation. Scripture said that he brought certain of people in with guile. So was the so-called white man being Elmer Fudd and Wile E. Coyote and Tomcat, and us being the prey of, Bugs Bunny, Roadrunner, and Jerry, we can't come back at this predator, all right? We have to find ways to evade the traps, foresee the traps, and come up with slick ways to, maneuver through this system. If you find a way to get over on the so-called white man legally, or no little kink in the system, by all means, use the world, don't abuse it. But until then, man, we just be impatient, man, all right? We be impatient. It will be fucking foolish if I see a gazelle running towards a lion, or sheep running towards a flock of sheep running towards wolves to take it on. Be stupid. So we're not to be like that, you know. So that was just a quick response to what the brothers to the point. And I don't know, I hope brothers are edified. So I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bahashim Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. And of course, salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim Tazadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom, wa Shalakariam, I'll call Adawambium, wa Gawayim, or 2/3, and those that come against this video try to flag it. Shalom.